let's draw an eye. Basically, always draw from life. And notice over here I have an eye. That's it's Michelangelo's eye, and we're going to draw that eye. Every time you use, you're going to try to use your unsharpened pencil. You know, the ones we use to make lines, we can also use that one for measuring. With your outstretched arm, don't move any distance. Just, you know, turn your pencil to find how long certain things are. So find the shortest distance, and then, so this, the height is the short distance. So the height of the eye. What I'm going to get right now, what I'm looking for is this point right here to this point right here. Or you could take it from that point to that point. But I'm going to go off of that point to that point. All right? And I'm measuring that point to there. And then I'm going to measure from this edge to that edge. And how many times does that go into that? It's a ratio. What is the ratio? So from there to there, I pull it over, and I went from the edge to the corner of the iris, and from the corner of the iris to the corner of the eye. That's about 2. So on this page, you don't have to keep the same distance. You know, that would be a pretty small eye if you drew it that small. So I'm going to draw a quite large eye, right? And you can do it one of two ways. You can go backwards or forwards. You can, you know, you can take, if I want my eye to be that big on the page, all right. Well, that's pretty easy. Just put a mark here, and then divide this in half. And what is that distance? Take that and put it here from there to there. See, I'm putting my finger where the end, and that's the first end, and that's the other end. So that would be A and B. So keeping your finger to make where the marks are. All right. Now the upper curvature on this eye has an apex where the curve is at the highest. All right. Right here, the curve is at its highest, right in this area about here. And this curves nicely up to there. And then it comes down at a pretty sharp angle. And the bottom eye, the bottom part of the eye, notice where the iris is right in here. That's what makes this go up farther, or the apex of the eye. So even on this bottom eyelid, the lowest part is where the apex is almost the same as that. It should have a little bit of contrast. If you notice, I'm using a featherweight line as I do this, and even my dots, I try to keep them as light as possible. All right. As we move further into learning about those lines that I'm trying to teach you, these will help you making quicker drawings if you know how to put your value and your lines in at the right value. Now see, I don't like how this went, but since it's a light line, it's no problem put another light line next to it. Okay? And this one here, notice I don't have to erase that line. I just leave it there. It's no big deal. If you look at Michelangelo's drawings or Leonardo's drawing, any of those guys in the Renaissance, they didn't really care. If they left those kind of lines there, and actually makes it more, you know, it feels more real because you don't have to make it perfect. It's okay to make these mistakes, and don't call them mistakes either. Just call them learning experiences. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how far this eyelid goes to the fold of the skin up here down to the eye. Alright, that's like that. So 101. Let's see, what can I measure it to with? So the distance of that is about the same as the distance of that, and it's about, let's say, twice of that length. Alright, so I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put this one in about the same distance there. And this is the start of your iris, where you're seeing the iris. Now the iris is it's protruding out from the ball of the eye. Okay? And this ridge starts moving closer to this, but not too much. It actually juts out farther. And that's one thing you should always remember to do when you have something in real life. Make sure you walk around it to tell what things are going under and what things are going over. Don't just stay in one spot when you draw. Another thing when you draw, just to see if this is working out proportionally, is to back away from it. Don't just stand right up on it and draw all the little details, and then when you back away, it's all out of proportion. Every 5 minutes, take a step back. Like right now, I'm going to take a step back, all right, and I'm looking at it maybe 10 feet away or 5 feet away, and then I'm going to come back to it, all right, and I'm going to say, well, I think it should be a little shorter here. All right, that looks in more proportion to me now. All right. Then I'm going to take this eyelid and move it around, and it has a really nice S curve right in here. So this comes up, goes farther away from that line, and then back down, almost touching like that. Okay, S curves are so important. William Hogarth, he loved them, and I think we should too. Okay, I'm drawing where the what you want to do is draw where light shapes are and where shadow shapes are. You can draw a line all the way around your shadow shapes. All right. The other thing you want to be able to do is squint your eye. I'm always squinting my eye to try to find out what is dark and what is light. The shadow shapes always get a darkness, and the light shapes don't get into darkness. All right. Now, what is the distance? There's a place over here on this eye right here to this distance. What is that compared to, say, from here to here? If it's the same, that's wonderful. If it's not, what is the difference? When they're the same, it's wonderful because then it's just so easy to put in. Yes, they're the same. So the distance between the two eyelids is the same distance as from where the fold is to the outer edge of that value. And make sure that you put it at that angle. Don't be doing like this, because then it's going to be shorter, but you want to put it at the same angle that you chose when you started measuring it. And this line, try to find the right angle that it's going at. You know, I've drawn enough that I can pretty much tell what angle things are going at. Also, all I had to do was look at this angle here and just almost parallel it like that. All right, notice I'm using very light lines. I'm not using anything heavy lines at all. All right, so the distance from here to here and the distance from to the bottom of the bag is a little bit, this bottom bag I'd say is double, right? But I'll just check it to make sure. So that distance is there, and that one is 1. Maybe it's more like 1.5. So I'll take that and do there and a half. Let's see. Start my mark here, and a half would be there. So I'm a little bit short. And notice I'm not Xing anything out. I'm not getting all uptight about my mistake. I'm just waiting patiently and drawing in the next line. You could draw it in a little bit darker so you know which one you want to keep. All right, and then I'm going to put, it gets kind of more narrow in that area and comes out like that, all right? This right here started already to become dimensional because there's a lot of curves in it. When you start getting straights, you start messing up. Anything in life is very curvy if you're drawing from life. Now, if we're drawing a still life and there's furniture or something coming straight edge that a man made thing, then you want to, get a straight edge and make it straight. But here in life, we got very rounded forms.